You going Colts?
I'm going with the Colts.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going with the Colts, man. I like the
And that's the middle linebacker talking, and I'm cashing in on Ray Lewis.
No, I know.
I'm just saying. I'm still going to stick with Baltimore, man.
I say the Ravens will stop the running game, but it doesn't matter.
Well, we'll see what happens.
It doesn't matter.
I tell you what, we'll move forward. We'll talk about the other AFC matchup and get, of course, Robert Jones' opinion, who joins us, three-time Super Bowl champion. The next matchup, another defensive team going up against an explosive offense, the New York Jets at San Diego. Phillip Rivers has been spectacular throughout the year, if you ask me. He's had one of his better years and really led this team, more importantly. 28 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. The rookie on the other side, however, not so good, completing only 53% of his passes, 12 touchdowns, 20 interceptions. Can that secondary for the Chargers shut these guys down, not allow them to pass when they finally stop down the run a little bit? I think is the key in this ball game. And I like Cromartie, I like Jammer, and I'm going to go with this San Diego offense.
Yeah, I'm going with the Chargers. The Jets go home this weekend, man. Jets go home this weekend. They all excited. They just want to win one playoff game, so everybody can keep their job. And it's like they 2,000 Dolphins. Wannstedt was coaching. We win one playoff game, then we go home. Beat Seattle, go to Jacksonville, and they beat us 62 to 7, something like that.
I thought Jimmy was still the head coach at that time. I thought that was his last game as a head coach. He got beat 62.
It was Jimmy. It was Jimmy.
Okay.
It was Jimmy.
But
Sorry about that, Wannstedt.
You just put it on, huh?
But because I've always thought that was the cruel irony for a guy that had as much success as Jimmy. The last time he coached, he got his brains beat in the NFL.
Just beat good.
That's the league.
You could say he's the best coach that went from the collegiate level to the NFL level on both levels. He dominated. Won a national championship. Was the top. Was the best at one point. There aren't many guys you can say that about.
He won 2 Super Bowls. He built a team that won 3 Super Bowls.
Yeah, it's hard to do.
Great.
He had a lot of success.
Is Mr. Ryan in that category? A lot of people talk about the same type of things they said with Jimmy Johnson. The players love him. They support him. They play for him. How do you see Rex Ryan as being the captain of these New York Jets?
Not there yet.
Okay.
That's
Does
my
he have
opinion.
The potential?
But I like it.
Just from what you hear.
And that's why I'm taking the Jets, because I like it. I'm taking him over North Turner, put it that way. I think he gives his guys the swagger and the attitude to go on the road. Defense goes on the road.
They did it last week.
I just don't think the Jets. I just don't think Jets is ready for that Chargers, man. I don't think they're ready.
Darrelle Revis is ready. He's ready.
He's special.
I don't know about the others.
We'll see.
I like and TJ.
But where was he at the beginning of the year?
Revis?
Yeah.
I think he's been shutting people down pretty good. They just don't. But he doesn't have any stats because nobody throws his way.
Yeah, he's the real deal.
He would have more
Your boy
interceptions.
Dion calls him the Revis Island. Said it's like the Bermuda Triangle. You get lost in it. That's what he says on NFL Network.
That's what Dion
Your boy
said.
Dion.
So if Dion gave him props, man, you give him props. But still, I'm looking at the W's and the L's, man. I mean, it doesn't matter. You got in the playoffs, and that's all it takes. I mean, whether you are a team that got a bye in the playoffs or whether you're a wild card team.
You won it both ways, the Super Bowl.
Won it both ways.
Yep.
So you get in the playoffs, it's one game elimination. So that's all I'm looking at.
And I'm trying to remember now, how many straight wins is this for San Diego? Because that's pretty hard. What's the most games you ever won consecutively in the NFL?
I think for me it was about 8, 9, and then we lost to the Rams one time. We were like 7-0, and then we lose to the
11
Rams.
straight for San Diego.
They've won 11 in a row?
Yep.
I mean, that's hard to do. That's pretty impressive.
That's hard to do in the NFL, but, playoffs is a new season.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And that's the difference that we don't know. But let's talk a little. You want to talk a little bit about New Orleans and then save the Cowboys, Minnesota?
That's fine.
New Orleans, oh, man, I like this offense. I love what Arizona did. They just scored the most points of all time combined together in the game last week. Kurt Warner looked sharp, man. I mean, the guy he's spectacular last week. But on the other side, you got quarterback play just as good, if you ask me. Drew Brees having completed 70% of his passes. He threw for 4,300 yards, 34 tugs, 11 interceptions, and he's got targets all over the place. And don't leave out Pierre Thomas. John has been talking about this guy for 2 seasons. He's averaging 5.4 on the ground. And at one point, they had the best passing attack and the best rushing attack in football. This Arizona defense, I don't think it's suited to stop them. They got too many weapons. I'm going to Saints to win this one big, though I don't think they'll score a lot of points.
I think this is going to come down to, I know both teams got good offenses. This is going to come down to who can stop, who can stop who. Like, can the Cardinals stop the Saints? Can the Saints stop the Cardinals? And if it's one or two possessions that they can hold off where they can get a couple 3-and-outs, because this is going to be like just a tennis match. I feel both teams got weapons at the receivers, quarterback. Both of them can move the ball fairly well, running the ball. I think it's going to come down to who can stop who.
Well, Aaron Rodgers, I think more of Drew Brees as a quarterback than I do Aaron Rodgers, and the Cardinals couldn't stop Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, I mean, they didn't stop them late in the game. Aaron Rodgers coughed up the game-winning touchdown, but Green Bay had the ball first. I mean, who knows?
Points against them.
Yeah, see, and I think and the Saints got healthy that extra week. How valuable is that extra week?
It's valuable, but also, you're not in game rhythm. You know what I mean when I say game rhythm? I do think, and this is why a wild card team can go all the way to the Super Bowl. They just got that rhythm, and they just keep going, and they keep going, and they keep going. Man, when you take 2 and 3 weeks off, you don't have the same mentality in practice that you do in a game.
Well, now, wait a minute, then I'm going to back up and ask you again about Peyton Manning. Because they shut him down. He's been shut down for a little while now.
But like I said, remember, Peyton Manning studies the game. He studies the game. He studies. I mean, he put time in. I say, Peyton Manning ain't this partying dude. And,
no way.
You know what I mean? He's not going to hit the club. It's like, man, he's probably, probably Christmas Eve, Peyton Manning in there just looking at game plans and stuff. He's probably coaching and coaching.
That's interesting, though, about the Cardinals. How many teams can have the success the Cardinals had? I mean, they were in the Super Bowl last year, fired both coordinators, made it back to the postseason, actually won a playoff game. Something's going on there.
Well, that says a lot about the head coach. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
he knows what he's doing, and sometimes that's what a head coach has to do. Is they have to get people in there that know what they're doing. And so, Jimmy Johnson. I mean, when you look at all these head coaches, Mike Holmgren. Look at these guys and look at their staff, and then look at where their staff is. I mean, Mike Holmgren had a lot of head coaches on his staff. Jimmy Johnson had a lot of head coaches on his staff. I mean, those guys know how to pick people to help them win.
Got it. Yeah. Robert Jones coming right back. Pick the Cowboys-Vikings game when we continue with the wake-up call on AM 1300 The Zone.